Good morning, my fellow traders. It is the fourth quarter. Now, what are you going to do? That's my question for you this morning. We're going into the fourth quarter, and a lot of us are not where we want to be. We didn't have the year that we wanted to have. Things aren't where we really need them to be. So what are we going to do? Are we going to finish? Are we going to start this fourth quarter strong? Are we going to finish strong? See, the first three quarters of history. Doesn't matter what you did. All that matters now is what happens going forward. If you're not happy with what you did the first three quarters, which most of us aren't, we have to change what we did. We have to change our mindset. We have to change the habits that we created. We have to identify and change all of the things that created that poor performance. Now, if you're one of these guys that think, I'll just keep doing what I've been doing, eventually it's going to get there, you're insane. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And if it hasn't worked in 3 quarters, it's not going to work. It's time to change. And that's why I say, hey, it's you got to finish strong. And I was watching my beloved Gamecocks last night, and they were playing Texas A&M, and they played a good game. But you know what they didn't do? They didn't finish the first quarter strong. Okay? They did good in the second quarter, okay in the third quarter, but they did not finish the fourth quarter strong. Texas A&M started the first quarter strong, finished the fourth quarter strong. That's what won them the game. The fourth quarter won them that game. And the same thing that happens in football, in basketball, it happens in real life. Our life, we can look at our year. We can even look at our life in 4 stages. How we start that first stage of our life. Our undergraduate work. From elementary school to high school. How we start and finish that first quarter really propels us into the second quarter of our life. When we're going to college, grad school, and we're getting acclimated to our jobs and our careers. We're developing ourselves. That second quarter. That third quarter is got to be the grinding. That's when we start doing things. We may make some mistakes. But we're setting ourselves up, to finish the fourth quarter strong. We're ready to finish our life strong. And that's what we're trying to do. So that's why my focus is on this fourth quarter. We need to finish strong so we can start our first quarter strong. And that's going to set us up and propel us and give us the momentum that we need to make it through the rest of that year and then finish up that fourth quarter strong. It's what we have to do. Now, I get a question a lot. A lot. Okay, what motivates me? What got me to thinking that it doesn't matter where you start? Was it just that book? But no, that book helped me realize that I had a personal model all my life. I had somebody that did that and that lived that, and I spent a lot of time with them. But it took me a while as an adult to really put all of this together and to really understand. And that person this is my grandfather. This is who I'm named after. His name is Edwin Roberts Russell, And my name is Edwin Roberts Russell Martin. He was a research chemist. He was born here in South Carolina, back in 1913. And that was not the best time to be in the South and the minority. Your future was not as bright. And, you were limited to what you could do. But he started with nothing. He started with not having a bright future, but he believed. He had a dream. He believed. He knew that he had greatness in him, and that no matter what, he was going to do everything he could to be successful. And he actually worked on the Manhattan Project. If you're not familiar with that, that's the where the atomic bomb came from. He was a research chemist. He went to school right here in Columbia to HBCU, which we call a historically black college or university. That's all he could go to at the time. All he could do is stay in the lane that he was given at that time. But he maximized his potential. He knew and he dreamed beyond that. He knew one day he was going to be more than what he is right now. And he did it. He went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. He earned his master's and then went to the University of Chicago to perform, to get his doctorate. And this was almost unheard of back then. But he was determined to do it. And it was there at the University of Chicago that he was discovered and asked to be a part of this top secret project. He said, you can't tell your parent. You say you can't tell your wife. You can't tell your family. You can't tell anybody anything. We just need you to move out here and live isolated and work on this project. He jumped at the chance. Unfortunately, he was segregated and, had to deal with that. But he looked beyond where he was right then because he knew he had the potential and he had the vision that he was going to make it. And, it wasn't until, when was it, 1970s or 80s? I can't remember exactly when they declassified it, and that's when he was able to talk about it. And I remember going to as many schools as I could with him when he went to talk to the kids about what he did and about the Manhattan Project. And it was awesome. He went to work for DuPont, here in South Carolina, Savannah River plant, and developed all of these patents. But because of who he was, because he was a minority, he didn't get paid a whole lot of money for this. So he wasn't rich. He didn't leave us any money or anything like that, but he left me his legacy. And that legacy is what's driving me right now. It's what lets me know what can happen no matter where you come from, no matter what obstacles you have in your way. If you continue to work, if you continue to grind, if you continue to put forth that effort, you're going to get there. He had to live in impoverished conditions sometimes, but he knew that he was not going to be there forever. It was a means to an end. And, I can't be more proud of what he did and what he accomplished. And I just want to, if I could be 1/10 of a success that he was and 1/10 of the man that he was, I know that I can be successful. So I wanted to share that with you. This is, and I think everybody in their family can look back and find somebody that's done that, that's left a legacy that you can build off of. He was a model of success. He showed me what hard work and dedication and educating yourself can do. He was so smart he would make jokes that I just never understood. It may take me weeks to understand it, and then I'd laugh because he was just that smart. And, I just, instead of trying to be as smart as he was, I just needed to be the person that he was. And if I did that, I know I could be successful. And that's what I've been doing. All right, so let's take a look at the weekly stats here. Now, this is the week before last. I only traded 3 days that week. This is when I first started my recovery as a tradeaholic. So I reduced myself, started with $1,300, and said I was going to get a 2-week start to what I plan to do in the fourth quarter. It's a challenge. It's not a game. It's not, you win prizes. I'm not giving away gifts. It's about hard work. As E.T. would say, it's about the W, the O, the R, the K. It's about putting in the work. It's about grinding. It's about dedicating yourself and working towards your goals and refocusing. Sometimes you have to stop and refocus. You get out of sorts. E.T. says that all the time. Sometimes he just gets too far ahead of himself. He has to reel himself back in. That's what happened. And I said, why? This is the best time to really start and help everybody grow with me, to show you what it takes to get to the next spot. So the first week, we did this last week in the recap video. We grew 42%. Out of that $1,300, we made $550.66. We grew 42%. All right, this week, I traded all 5 days, made $1,069.72. Guess what? I was able to withdraw $1,500 for the last 2 weeks worth of work on Friday. Well, I didn't do it Friday. I did the thing on yesterday morning once I saw how much money I had after everything settled. But was able to pull out $1,500. That's not a bad paycheck for 2 weeks. And I only started with $1,300. And I'm not asking you to believe me, because I did it every day in chat. Every trade you guys saw that's in chat, every time I shut my platform down and said that's enough, we need to stop, we did. This is how you do it. And I know if you look at these trades for the last couple of days, you see a lot of small trades, 22, 39, 57, 49. This is because I'm scaling out. I'm hitting my first profit target and I'm taking profit off. Now, yeah, sometimes I get some slippage when my stop hits and it, takes it down a little bit. But if I didn't scale out, I would be negative. This would be a negative trade. This would be a negative trade. This would be a negative trade if I didn't scale out. And you're developing skill. The name of the game is taking profit. I build my trade plan. I have predetermined profit targets based on the technicals on the chart, and I look to nail these charts. I don't give a damn how much money I'm making. I'm nailing the trade. That's what I'm looking at, because I know that if I build viable trading plans and I stick to them and I execute, I'm going to have money at the end of the week. I'm not keeping tabs. I don't have a monetary daily goal. I don't have a monetary weekly goal. I don't care about that. All I care about is executing, because I know if I execute, I'm going to win in the end. I'm gonna win in the end. Now, if I execute and I'm doing the right things and then I look at the end of the week and I haven't made money, the problem is my trade plan. My trade plan isn't viable. So I need to go back and figure out what's going on with it. And once I make the adjustments, I'm back in the game. Okay, and I could refer right back to the football game last night. You know, Texas A&M, they started out strong. Then all of a sudden what they were doing wasn't working. You know, they had to go back, regroup, and they came back, refocused, made the adjustments, and finished the fourth quarter strong. Ended up winning. That's what we, as traders, we got to do the same thing. We execute. If it's not working, we come back and make adjustments based on what we see, and then we go back out and get it. And that's essentially what I've done. Now, last week, I made 58%. You know, we started with just over $1,800 and made $1069.72, 52% gain. Where can you put $1,800, $1,900 in the bank and in a week's time get 58%? And we did it risking very little. I mean, very little to get this. Okay, how do we do it? We're not scalping, because scalping with a small account is a death spiral. You know, that's why I don't do it. You have to find those moves that you're going to have to find those stocks that have the biggest potential moves. You look for the A-plus setups, as we call them. And you look for stocks that are going to give you the biggest moves, the largest move potential. That's where you make your money. You start small, you start with smaller size, your account grows slowly, but it's growing. You're developing the skill that you need to do to build the right trade plans, to find the right stock to trade, and to execute your trade plans. And as you grow and as you develop, you add a little bit more size to it. Your account's bigger, you can risk a little bit more. But you're building, you have that confidence, you know what to do. And you're able to follow your trade plan. So yeah, your max loss, and you may lose more per trade, but then you're going to be winning twice as much. And it's all relative. So that's what it's all about. So the last 2 weeks since I started, you know, I started early. So those of you guys who, you know, started the fourth quarter challenge with me early, you know, you subscribe to the fourth quarter, you got these last 2 weeks free. And you saw me do this. This is what I plan on doing. You got a sneak peek of what's going to happen over the next couple of months, or the next 3 months. For the last 2 weeks, 16, 20, 38. You know what? I just thought about something. I'm probably going to be back at $1,300 because this is the first of the month and they're going to take out my platform fees. So I won't be at $1,500 on Monday. I'm pretty sure of that. Because I took $1,500 out. And I forgot about that. So, you know, that's another deal altogether. But over the last 2 weeks, 72% profitable. That's nice. I love that. Average winning trade, $81. Average losing trade, $49. That's 1.64. That's not bad. We strive for 2, but I do not mind. There were some smaller losses there where I had some slippage on my stops. I use market stops to ensure I get out if a stock pops and tries to run away from me. And of course, a couple of them popped and I got some slippage and it caused my max loss to go up a little bit higher than what I wanted. But that's the way it is. Largest winning trade, 261. Largest losing trade, 84.61. I'm not bad. Love these stats. If I can duplicate this for the next 3 months, I'm going to be a rock star. No, we're not going to win every trade. We're going to lose on some. Some are going to have the best setups and just don't work. That's trading. We have to accept that. We can't let it get into our head and cause us to do silly things. So, real pleased with this. 125% growth in the last 2 weeks. And you guys got to see it live. It's not something I asked you to believe I'm doing. You actually saw it. You saw how I managed these trades. You saw how I managed trades when I made mistakes or things didn't work out quite right. You know, you saw a model of success. Now, if I fail, you'll see a model of failure and how to deal with it. And that's just as important, if not more important, than modeling success. You know, this is my focus. This is what I'm trying to do to help you guys get to that next level. All right, I had, you know, and this is some of the trades from this month. And you see, I put this up here so you can see I'm only trading with 300, 200 shares, some with 100 shares, and we're making big profit. And I'm scaling out on these. And this is the profit after commissions. You know, this isn't before commissions. This is after I scaled out. And you can see you can make these big trades using small size. And this is how you grow your account. You know, 5% here, 7% here, another 5%. You know, this is only 2% because this is a higher price stock. But you can see, we're looking for the stocks that are able to make the larger moves. Here, this is over 1.5 points. You know, this is almost a point, but it's a 5% deal. It's a small dollar stock. This is almost a point. 7% smaller dollar stock. You know, this is over a point. You know, we're getting huge moves. And this is what we're looking for. This is what you have to find. Scalping on a small account does not work. Now, I know Profitly, and somebody pointed it out, doesn't give you the time and, you know, the scaling out. This just gives you an average exit price. So in essence, we did get more moves. I got over 2 points on this, but because I scaled out, the average is less than 2 points. So if you go back to my videos, and this is the one I did on ROKU the other day, you will see I share the exact time, the exact price, the route, tells you exactly everything you need to know, and it plots it on the chart for you. So if you see a trade that you're interested in, more than likely I would have done a video on it, and on the video I'm going to share the entries and exits, you know, every one, so you can follow along. So on Profitly, you'll be able to match it up here. All right, this is what a trader that I'm working with, that I'm mentoring with, sent me this morning. You know, and this trader has had trouble just getting out of hand, putting money in and losing it, putting money in and losing it. They'll make a big, they may make $400 or $500 trade and then turn around and lose everything and then some. And so we're going through the process. We started the process of trading small, and they're using 50 to 100 shares only. No more than that. 40 to 100 shares. No more than that. And this is what they made trading 40 to 100 shares after commissions. Now, these days, after I shut down, they kept trading and gave their money back. They were green and gave their money back. So the last couple of days, followed my advice, shut it down after 10:30, 11, lock in your profit and go about your business. This is what happens. So $194, almost $200. Now I know when you started trading, this $200 a month a week was not what we were looking for. That wasn't our goal. We were thinking maybe $2,000 a week. But you gotta have realistic expectations. If you start with $593.74 and you make $194.25, that's 33%. You've grown your account by like 33%. Again, what bank can you put your money in, put $500-$600 in, and in a week's time grow at 33%? I know I'm rounding. But where can you do that? You have to start somewhere. You have to start small. It doesn't take all this money to make it. If you start with $1,500 and you end up with $6,000 after the first couple of days, you don't quit. What if this trader quit? They started with, I guess, $2,000 and they were down to this. On the last time they funded, they were down to this. They had 2 negative days, all the way down to $565. Over $100 down. But they fought back. Trusting the process. Following the process. And this is all it takes. As long as you don't trade outside of yourself, you're going to do well. And this is what I want everybody to be able to do. But you have to start small. You got to be okay with taking smaller losses. Smaller wins and taking smaller losses. But you're going to grow. As your account grows, as your skill develops, and you do it the right way, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. As long as you stay inside your comfort zone. I could go back. I know I'm referencing the football game, but, I'm a Gamecock fan, so, I live traumatized through all football games. But in the end, when you get desperate, when you're trying to fight and nothing else has been working, and you just start throwing darts and playing outside of your comfort, not your comfort zone, outside of your abilities, then you start turning the ball over. You start, you're not playing within yourself. There are certain chances you can take within yourself and somewhat outside of your comfort zone that's not going to produce catastrophic results. And that's what we're looking for. We're pushing ourselves, but we have to be disciplined. We still have to stay disciplined. And if we start throwing deep balls when we're only good at short passes, we're inaccurate throwing deep, and we're not a deep threat team, but we're just throwing the ball out there, bad things are going to happen. And that's what happens in trading. If you don't trade within yourself, if you don't stay within yourself, if you start trying to go long and you're not there yet, or when I say going long, I mean trading with larger size, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to happen. It's going to be catastrophic. If you start trying to change and do a strategy that you don't normally do, but you see somebody else being successful with it, or allegedly be successful with it, and you try it, it's outside of your ability level. It's going to be catastrophic. So just keep that in mind. And everything that I was talking to you about, this is where the small account trading education program comes in. It's for the fourth quarter. And all you do is you come in and you join chat for the fourth quarter. And I'll be in there every day doing what I've done the last 2 weeks. If I'm losing and it's time to shut it down, then that's when we do it. We shut it down. But the good thing is, you're going to get the day trading psychology workshop, which is going to start here in a week. And it's going to help you develop the right mindset to trade with. Day trading is 20% strategy or strategic, but it's 80% mental, because execution is all mental. Building a trade plan is the strategic part, but execution is the mental part. That takes your mental energy to execute the trades. And so that's why it's important, and that's why I'm giving you this workshop, because it should transform your mindset and get you thinking in the right direction. So you missed the free 2 weeks that you were going to get, but you can still join, start out in the fourth quarter, and make it with us. It's only $149 for the last 3 months of the year. A small investment, and really, all you're doing is paying me for what I have to pay for Omnovia to have the extra seats. I mean, that's pretty much what you're paying for. Everything you're getting from me is free, in essence. So come join us for the fourth quarter. See what your trading can evolve in if you follow the process. So just come averagejoetrader.com. Just go over there on the first page, home page, you can sign up. There are 2 choices you can make. The first one is just to chat. If you feel you want to meet with me once a month, one-on-one, you can add that to the mix. So it's up to you. You can follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and you can get alerts whenever I go live on YouTube, or I post a new video on Twitter. I'll throw out a couple of tweets during the day and at night. Also, my trades, when they clear and I post them, they'll show up on Twitter too. Facebook and Instagram, I'm just starting to use. I know I'm behind the times. I should add Snapchat in here and everything else, but I'm getting there. My main focus is trading and learning how to trade, not really marketing. But I do want to let everybody know that if they do have a small account and they are struggling, there is a place that can come to that there is a place that they could come to help get developed and to find a model of success. So this is kind of like my kickoff video for the fourth quarter. I want you guys to come join us. If you're already in the room, you're going to see a more concerted effort to, helping you guys that are trying to grow your accounts. It's going to be a real big focus on that. So you guys have a great weekend. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you've had a good one up to this point. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.